Welcome to the Amlet Isma Podcast, an analysis of the current events from a Christian worldview.
Bienvenue. Abonnez-vous pour comprendre le narratif à partir d'une vision chrétienne du monde.
Abortion is among the most controversial or polemical, or if you will, hot topics of the day. Now, before we talk about that, let me set the context first for you. Few months ago, I reacted to a video in which the interviewer was doing a survey. She asked people to sign a petition to stop puppies from being killed in shelters. Most of the people that she addressed signed the petition. Now, right after, she asked them to sign another petition, which is to end abortion in the state of South Carolina. Nobody cares. They said, we are not interested in that. She replied to them, are you saying that animals are more valuable than human beings? That was exactly the question that I answered in that video. If you haven't watched it yet, I will encourage you to go back and watch this episode. Going back to our question, the question of abortion. Let's put the question into its structural logical claim, or let's break it down in an argument. First, our first premise says it is wrong to kill innocent people, right? Our second premise says abortion kills an innocent being in the womb. Therefore, abortion is morally wrong. This is, like I said, one of the best argument against abortion. Now let's look at the first premise. If you ask that question to most people, I guarantee you they don't have any issue with it. People don't have any problem with this premise, right? But again, most of them take issue at the second premise here. Abortion kills an innocent being in a womb. This is the most problematic premise in that argument. Now, some people will counter-argue by saying, well, what you have in the womb is not a person. They call it sometimes a clump of cells, or fetus, or an embryo, etc. Except that, biologically speaking, whether you say it is a embryo, this being has what we call a DNA. Agree? It has a DNA, which is distinct from the mother. But also, the second thing that you can say, can also grow. It gets its food from the mother. It develops, it grows. It is a living organism, just like any other organism of the human species. Now we're still in the Christian view.
Subscribe to the Amlet L Isma Podcast to get a Christian view on real-world matters.
Abonnez-vous au podcast Amlet L Isma pour obtenir un point de vue chrétien sur des questions du monde réel.
So from a biblical perspective, whether you consider what is inside the mother's womb as a clump of cells, as an embryo, as a fetus, the Bible is clear about it. It is a person, 100%. Of course, it is at a different stage than we are. By the way, all of us were in the past a fetus. All of us were in the past an embryo before we become who we are today. Agree? So, in the Bible, for example, in Psalms 139 verse 13, it says, "For you created my inmost being, you knit me together in my mother's womb. For you formed my inward parts. You covered me in my mother's womb. So the Bible is clear about it. Now, you might claim, some people will claim, well, I'm not interested in knowing what the Bible says about that. I don't believe in the Bible anyway. Well, there's another, I would say, strong argument against abortion, which is not coming from a religious view. The person who developed this argument is called Don Marcus. He is a philosopher, actually. And the name of the argument is future like ours. So basically, Don Marcus is saying, when you destroy the fetus or the embryo, or when you do an abortion, you deprive the fetus from enjoying the future. You deprive the fetus from experiencing, if you will, what an adult will experience in the future, or what you and I experience right now. So the argument, the future like ours, is also a strong argument, because if you think about it, like I said earlier, all of us were at some point in life an embryo. All of us were at some point in life a fetus. Now, if you say the video very short, let's summarize what we've seen today. First, we talk about the question of abortion from a Christian perspective. We gave you a good argument against the case. But we also gave you another argument, which is from a secular perspective, from someone that developed this argument called future like ours. Future like ours.
Subscribe to the Amlet L Isma Podcast to get a Christian view on real-world matters.
Abonnez-vous au podcast Amlet L Isma pour obtenir un point de vue chrétien sur des questions du monde réel.